let's just go to 16. But here's my idea, Dan, and you tell me where I'm wrong. No auto bids. If you're going to have a subjective committee picking these, if we're not going to have a regionally balanced, competitively balanced set of divisions or conferences where you can have objective criteria like the NFL does for the playoff, if we're going to be subjective about it, no auto bids, top 16 teams are in. That's going to get a group of 5 champ in there most years.
I agree. The group of 5 champ that we want in, the 12-1 Fresno team, the 12-1 Boise, a 12-1 Washington State or something, or maybe it's Memphis. That quality team that can compete would get in the top 16. I agree. The only reason for that, you could go all at large and then one extra and set it aside for a group of 5 to avoid a lawsuit. That's what I always saw it as. And then a reward for the number 1 seed.
Right.
The one thing
you could still
maybe you could just have your 5, keep your 5 because it doesn't matter. But I agree. Better off just going here, give us our 16 best. If you can't make the top 16, you don't deserve in. I think it's a lawsuit prevention, but I would be fine with that. This isn't you don't need a lot of protection in the Mountain West. I do think it helps to have an automatic bid for those other conferences for the perception that they have a real chance.
All right. So I'll compromise on that. We can keep the 5 automatic bids.
It doesn't really matter other than it saves you from a lawsuit.
I would say don't codify them because I think codifying them actually invites a lawsuit. So you just say 5 highest ranked conference champs are in.
They're not going to be able to get rid of it now.
Yeah. Now, here's how I get rid of the deliberate misseeding of the playoff and I don't want to gatekeep the sport. I don't like when people call people casuals, but this Notre Dame conversation that popped up this week just made me laugh because everybody's like, wait, Notre Dame can't finish higher than 5th?
Right.
No, you've known that for 3 years, everybody. Like that's not new information.
Yeah, that was painful.
So this eliminates that because here's the problem. Number 5 is going to be a lot better than 3 and 4 in most years.
Yeah.
So number 5 is going to kick the crap out of number 12. I want there to be upsets. I want 12 to actually play the real 5, but in mine, 12's not going to play 5 yet. Well, 12 is going to play 5. It'd be a real 5-12 game in mine. So you have a 16-team playoff, best 16, regardless of conference champ or whatever. We're going to get rid of the conference championship games. I realize they're cash cows. I realize they make money.
Yes.
But you're taking more money because we're adding more games. You're going to get $118 million a game. We're adding more games here. You're going to have 8 first-round games. So one will play 16. That is basically a bye in college football. But by the time you get to 3-14, you can have real upsets.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So I agree with that. The problem is, people will scream Notre Dame only played 12 games, but it's like, get over it. The Notre Dame discussion this week was absolutely painful. Oh, my God, Notre Dame got screwed. They literally wrote the plan. They are dancing in the streets of South Bend because they just
never have to join a conference if this
they kept their independence. It hurts. It hurts, but that's okay. We spend way too much time on this. Obviously, an audience watching at 8 a.m. on a Friday in February on college football. We're preaching to the choir here. So yes, I agree. That would be better. We would have better games. So I once proposed. This was back when there were 11 conferences and 9 of them were good. This was before, like, the Mountain West had their own thing, and the WAC was good and all this. I once proposed a 16-team playoff, and I was like, people are like, well, this is ridiculous. Someone's playing a MAC champ in round 1. I said, that's the reward for being first, right? So giving some kind of reward, but it doesn't take long before you got upsets possible. If you get rid of the conference championship game, I have done story after story on this most years on Yahoo. I will show you that the conference championship games most years are either all or down to 1 completely irrelevant. Nothing matters. Even in a 4-team playoff, 2 years ago, I can't remember last year's, but Georgia and Michigan were in, regardless of whether they won or lost. TCU lost their championship game and stayed in. And it was all down to whether USC playing a 13th game would get lost their 13th game, allowing Ohio State, which got to sit at home on 12, got in, which isn't even logically isn't fair. You don't win, you don't finish the race, and then they go, you don't finish the Daytona 500 and go, okay, you run one more lap. Well, this if you don't crash, then you get the spot. But the guy who's sitting in pit row, he could take your, like, that's not how it works, right? But whatever. That's how they did it. So Ohio State got it. But like it's totally irrelevant. There's only 2 of the games that make money, and that's the Big Ten and the SEC. And they already have all the money. So if you get rid of conference championship weekend, now the season ends Thanksgiving weekend, and you can play 2 rounds of this tournament in December. Everyone can take a week off. You move Army, Navy up to what is now conference championship weekend. Tell the Heisman you're going to vote after, but that's a whole nother thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you would be able to play the second weekend and the third weekend of December. And then you would be able to play your semifinals on New Year's Day, which is what we want as a country. We have voted with our ratings forever. Please give us a doubleheader that matters on New Year's Day. You could even, if you move the entire season a week and push it back to like, they're talking about moving it one more week into the summer. I'm not sure how I feel about all that, but if you do that, you could play the whole tournament in December. And not this. They are going to finish the college football season next year on January 20th, I think is Martin Luther King Day. It's too long. You are too deep into the NFL. It's like, that's a long season. And I don't think people are going to like that. It's going to be like, man, is this still going on? We would be better like boom, 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 and get it done. So getting rid of conference championship game would be ideal. That'd be one of my top 3 things that would solve a lot of problems.
I'm glad you went there. Here's the next thing. The bowls out of the playoff. There is one neutral site game is the national championship game. Everything else is on campus where college football is better, which helps the regular season, makes your seeding matter more. If you are the 1 seed and you are at home throughout the playoff, the 2 seed at home throughout the playoff, that matters. No bowls. But I like bowls. I don't want the bowls to go away.
No.
I actually still want the filler content on weeknights in December, but I also want the major bowls, and even the minor ones can do this if they want. I still want them played. I want them played with everybody playing. And you know we're going to want to play those? Labor Day weekend.
I don't know how that works, but okay.
You qualify for that bowl. It's just a game, a non-conference game that people want to see. Your new team is going to play in it.
It's like neutral site games. I'm not a big fan of neutral site games. Here's the thing about the bowls. I don't hate that idea, but it's just, you're just branding a game.
Right.
To me, the bowls, the existence of the bowl system and the playoff are not really related. Okay. Bowls are basically almost every bowl game schools go to, they lose money.
Right.
They spend more money on travel, buying tickets for their band, all the coaches' bonuses, all the different stuff you have to do. You lose money going to you might be surprised to know the New Mexico Bowl is not a big money maker. It's just TV for ESPN to put on, right, and people like us watch.
All I want is the television content anyway. So like I'm with you. I'll take the game.
I get 100
how about
bowls.
this?
100 bowls.
How about this?
They're on welfare. They're on welfare.
Yeah.
They exist because the Big Ten says we're going to make $100 million this postseason. I'm just inventing that number on our playoff appearances and our bowl games. Some of the games are going to be extremely profitable, and some are not. We pool it. Everybody gets the same cut, and therefore, when Indiana goes 6-6 and gets to go to a bowl game, They don't sit there and go, man, we're going to lose $5 million to whatever they're going to lose. We got you covered. So the bowls exist because the rest of the postseason is profitable, and it will only get more profitable starting next year. So those bowl games should never go away. I'm good with 50 bowl games. What do we got? 130 teams. I don't
Let
really
everybody
care.
play.
I don't really care. 2 teams want to play. I'm going to watch. That's what I like. There's one of the great. We did this book, Death to the BCS, a long time ago. Went through all this stuff. One of the biggest fake arguments they had was it's going to kill the bowl games. The bowl industry is dead the moment that they do a playoff. They keep adding games.
No, Dan, it's going to kill the getting $1 million to run one bowl game. So
yes, that's the guy
that's what it's going to kill.
I play golf with. Right. That's that guy. Yes. You're not going to make $1 million. So I would absolutely, if you could pull this off, I would play on campus, including New Year's Day.
Yes. Yes.
I think
and then one neutral site national championship game wherever it may be.
I cover the NFL also, right? I was at San Francisco. NFC Championship game, Detroit versus San Francisco. Incredible crowd. There's Lions fans traveled. They're from that area. The Niner fans. It was a hype game. Went down the end. Crazy environment. Whole thing's great. I didn't hear one person say, you know what? I wish we were playing this in the Alamo Dome. I wish we could have all packed up and spent thousands of dollars so all of our fans could have spent it in Glendale, Arizona. That would have been so much better. Nobody says that. No person. So it's better. The Niners got the advantage. They get the advantage over. Maybe you have to determine the games. Tough break. Win more games. Right. Love it. That is better for the sport. Now, if you have to do it, if you have to play the semis on New Year's Day, and you say to the Rose Bowl, which is an unbelievable place for a football game, you can be a permanent. We're going to do it in Pasadena and New Orleans. Those are our 2 games. But Rose Bowl, you can have a permanent semifinal spot, but we're kicking off an hour earlier. We are kicking off an hour earlier.
Who says no?
Your vaunted sunset, they won't do it because they want the sun to set at the end of the 3rd quarter. They want the sun to hit those and turn the San Gabriel Mountains purple, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic when you're there. It's fantastic when you live like me up in Detroit and it's freezing out and you look and go, damn, that looks nice, right? It's fantastic. Tough break. Sun will still set. The sun will set and the San Gabriels will still be there 1 hour earlier. If you kick, they'll just set at the end of the game instead of the 3rd quarter. And therefore, though we don't kick off the other semifinal at like 9:30 Eastern. So a whole bunch of people have to go to work. Can't watch Texas play Washington in an exciting game. Like the arrogance of this sport sometimes. Like we have people spend their whole year. Oh my God, I love college football. I spend all my money in college football. And it's like, dude, this semifinal is ending at 1 a.m, 12:30. I have to be up. My boss is going to be all psyched. The start of the new year. He's going to be at the office 6:45 tomorrow. I got to get to sleep. I can't watch the semifinal because these jerks out in Pasadena are obsessed with their sunset. 1 hour earlier. It still will set. I guarantee the sun will set. I guarantee it.
Well, and here's the other thing. Within 2 years of them starting, just doing this 12 team for the next 2 seasons, they'll realize how stupid it is to make people travel this many times. They're thinking about it because they're in college sports. They're thinking it's like the NCAA tournament. It's not. The NCAA tournament, the first weekend is in a 16,000 seat arena where you have 8 teams there on day 1 and 4 teams there on the second session. So,
and those
of course you can fill that.
Yeah, and even then. Yeah.
And even then they don't fill it.
People don't travel to the first 2 rounds. They're just like in the town where it's at.
Yeah.
They don't travel much. No, you're asking people right now. Let's say, and I've heard this from SEC people. Well, the bowl sites aren't that far for our fans. Well, first off, for your rich fans and the ones who get the time off from work, okay.
Right.
But you still have to go get a hotel room in New Orleans or Atlanta or Miami. But let's say you're a Michigan fan or Ohio State fan. Like last year, Michigan fan, you got to go to Indianapolis. Okay, well, it's not that far, but you got to stay over. The game's at 8:00 at night.
Hotels are expensive, yeah.
Right. Then you got to go to Pasadena. Okay, it's awesome, but I mean, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. over the holidays. Probably got to bring your kids along because, then you got to go to Houston. It's 3 trips in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And the airfares, it's insane. The prices of hotels and airfares are incredible. And it's like, I don't have to pay for it. So I go, but you're like, gosh, this is a $950 plane ticket to go to Houston on January 4th or something, right? Yeah. So you're sitting there going, gosh, you're draining your people out. Also, why in the world are we propping up the economies of these cities and filling their hotel rooms? And why are we playing games in these antiseptic NFL stadiums that are just whatever? College football, one of its greatest assets are the campus environment. The stadiums are cool. The stadiums are unique. The stadiums are huge in many cases, but even if they're not, great. I want to see a game in Manhattan, Kansas. I want to see it in Morgantown.
And the other part of it is because this is where the Bill Hancocks of the world. But how will people get hotel rooms? What about visiting fans? Who cares about visiting fans? You won home field advantage for a reason.
No, I've had that one. Well, the media won't be able to stay. So what? The NFL doesn't set us up when we play.
We cover these games in the regular season. I know where to stay to cover a game in State College.
You can't stay there. You're right.
Yeah.
I used to fly into State College. They have a night game, and there's a flight out at like 6 a.m. I wouldn't even get a hotel room. I just go back to the Avis slot, their little airport, and stay there.
Exactly.
Whatever. Don't worry about me. The NFL plays in Green Bay, Wisconsin, right? Like, it's a small little town. It's awesome. It's snowy. It's a pain in the neck to get to. Ask any NFL. What's the number one place you'd like to watch an NFL game? I want to go to Green Bay. Well, of course you do. And you want it to be snowing, don't you? Yeah, kind of. I mean, it'll suck. But yes, I do. Right? That's the game you want to be at. Oh, my God. It was so cold. And Tom Coughlin's face almost froze. But whatever. They won. So, yeah, don't worry about so many of their arguments were garbage anyway. But, yes, get the Bulls out. But if you have to do it, Rose Bowl, the sun will set. You don't get to determine your kickoff time.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.